Hey, it's Sammy and Natalie here, and welcome to the Anxiety Compass, where anxiety isn't the enemy, it's our tour guide. We'll swap stories, share tools, and have a laugh while we find our way back to true north. Come along. Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 6. Feeling pretty good today. Hopefully my dog Midas doesn't interrupt because he loves to be a part of this podcast. We're going to be talking about why True North isn't on Google Maps. Do you use Google Maps, Nat, or do you just use the maps?
No, I use Google Maps.
My husband and I often get into arguments. He prefers the maps over Google Maps. He says Google Maps takes him to stupid places and he doesn't like
Okay,
that.
what's Maps?
Maps is the one that comes with the apples.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. But anyway, whatever you use, your True North isn't on there. So today we're going to sort of be talking more about, I think we're in a culture of fix it and influences, and we're trusting other people over trusting ourselves. And it's quite dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah,
We're
it
seeing
really
that,
can be.
especially when you see it in clinic. We get a lot of people that come in. I mean, my clinic's not open anymore, but I used to get people come in and they'd give me all these supplements and things that they were recommended by some influencer. And I'd be like, really? Like, it'd be an expensive waste of time for them, some random thing that they picked
Oh
up.
gosh, yes. Oh yeah.
It wasn't for their
Like
body.
yeah, I see it all the time too. People coming
Oh,
in into clinic with all these random supplements, and it can get dangerous as well because they're
yeah.
taking multiple things that are not necessarily number one great ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some ingredients, dosages aren't therapeutic, so it's doing nothing. Other things they're
Mm.
doubling up, so they're getting far in excess of what they should be getting. But also a lot of them, because a lot of people that come into my clinic also are on medications,
Yeah. So it's sort of
and they're interacting with their medication.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
So
can be really dangerous listening to, people on the internet and their
doing that.
recommendations. Just
So
because it helped somebody else or helped themselves doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be helping for everybody else out there.
exactly. But I think for me, back when I was in my worst, I would grab anything that I could potentially fix the state I was in. I was drowning and I couldn't think for myself. I didn't know how to look inward. And so I was trying to find someone to save me. And if that meant finding someone who was a mental health advocate, perhaps they didn't have qualifications. And I'd be, oh my gosh, everyone's raving on about this thing, maybe it might save me. Maybe it might fix me. I need to fix myself. I can't be feeling these things. I don't want to
Mm.
feel anxious. I don't want to feel, I want to fix. And
Yeah.
so I find that a lot of people are outsourcing their compass. They're not listening to their own inner compass. They're handing it to someone else and saying, fix it. No one knows your true
Yeah.
north. No one sort of knows who you are and about you and what you want. And I
Mm.
found a lot of people who I went to for help were helping me in the way that they knew, and their perception and reality of the world was completely different to mine. That it kind of didn't align sometimes, and it made me worse. Have
Yeah.
you got any sort of personal moments where you gave your power away, and it didn't turn out the greatest? Or perhaps you did give your power away and it worked out well for you?
Yeah, look, I've
So,
got so many stories. Obviously, when I was sick, it was pre-internet days, so I didn't have the um, influences and that bombardment that we get today on social media, which just amplifies and makes things so
oh,
much worse.
makes my head.
But
Well,
I wasn't really exposed to mass influence type suggestions and things, but I was still being influenced, like I was reading books. I can't remember where, but I was looking at Yellow Pages, I don't know, or
Yellow
getting buying
pages. You're
magazines.
showing your age now, Nat.
I know. Hey, I'm
I had
56.
the yellow pages when I was growing up too.
I know.
Mhm.
So, or buying magazines, and they had all the ads of all these people in there who claimed that they could help.
Mm.
So, and I was same as you. I was desperate to get well. So I would literally try anything. And then I used to say, if someone tells me to go and stand on my head for 3 weeks over in the corner, I'll do it
I'd like
because
to
I
see.
just want to get better. So I
Mm.
was constantly looking and also trusting a lot of experts, as
Mm.
in doctors,
Yeah.
who, and like I've mentioned in previous episodes, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, they didn't know as much as what they do now,
Mm.
especially like I had complex PTSD. So they were throwing every medication at me. And I would just take it for 3 years and
That's
having
how they
really
know how to
horrible,
heal. That's their. I
yeah.
mean, you only
And I
know
would
what you know,
trust
right?
them and
Yeah.
having really bad side effects.
Mm.
Probably the most damaging thing was they recommended that I have ECT, electroconvulsive therapy.
Mm.
And I had 12 rounds of ECT.
I'm picturing one flew over the cuckoo's nest right
That's
now.
exactly, yes, absolutely. And that will be a subject for later on, like
Okay.
that literally for people
Yeah.
who are looking at going into hospital, because I literally felt I was terrified that that's all I
Oh
can think about.
gosh.
And it's a really, really common thing for people to think about.
Mm.
Um, but I had permanent brain damage from that. Um, so, I had some pretty severe, drastic things that when I
Hell.
handed over my own power. And for me, I've mentioned in the past, probably the biggest turning point was when I'd been sent to Sydney and I was in the mood disorders unit at Randwick Hospital, Prince of Wales Hospital, and they were studying me for 4 weeks.
Mm.
They and then they did a case study presentation in front of 70 doctors from all around the world who fly in. They do it once a year, and it's one case per day. And they presented my entire case, and they turned around, and 70 doctors collectively said, "You're not going to get better. There's
Ah,
nothing that we can do. Like
and
you're
that's
that
great for
severe."
anxious feelings, isn't it? To tell
Yeah,
someone
but
you're
that
going to get
actually
better.
ignited that fire in my belly
Mm.
because I was then sent home to Canberra to the hospital there, and it was my treating psychiatrist who gave me the end results the morning after I got back, and I just said, "No way,
No.
no way," and that's when I stopped listening to other people.
Mm.
That was it was a
Tell that.
very very pivotal
Well,
point. There
they
was
kind
like,
of give up on you.
yeah, I was just
And
like,
that's the
and no
thing.
way.
I've gone to some really high quality, well, not high quality, but you know what I mean, highly sought after GPs and whatnot. But people only know what they know. And this is why I often say, get another opinion, because I mean, I
Yeah.
only know what I know, right? And I
Yes,
mean, I'm sure I'm going to learn stuff from you as we go along, because there's only so much you can read and learn and know about a specific thing going on in someone's body. Like,
absolutely. And of course, you've always got that myopic lens from your own personal experience that is going to come across. And I saw this a lot with psychologists that I saw
mm,
as well. So while they're, and I'm not bagging out psychiatrists, psychologists, or doctors,
they
but
mean
as you
well.
said, they only know what they know. Absolutely, they meant well, but it was at that moment I stopped looking outside of myself because I was like, the answer is not out there. Clearly, it's not
Yeah.
out there.
Mm. And you turn inwards.
I
I
turned
I
inwards and
found
started listening to myself.
I found for me, and I don't know if this is you, but being an anxious person from such a young age, you always wanted to have someone safe around you. Like my mom was my safe person for a very long time. If I didn't have her, I felt very alone in the world, and it was kind of like I was standing out on a platform where I could fall, and I had no one to hold on to. And so for me, I always kind of felt like I needed someone to guide me and help me because I didn't think I was strong enough and brave enough to get through it. And so when I found certain psychologists and doctors, I really believed 100% Even when I went and did like NLP and that sort of stuff, I sort of handed my power over because I thought these people are, I put people on a pedestal and
Yeah.
praised them. And I think that's quite dangerous because only you know you. And
Yeah.
while sometimes you can get caught up in your own falsities, is that the right word? Uh,
Yeah.
I think as well, like I've had some people come to me in tears in clinic because they can't get up in the morning and meditate, and they're not getting enough sleep, and they've read stuff about how bad it is, and they've spoken to people who do fasting in the morning, and it's really worked for them, and it's helped with their anxious feelings, and they need to do this, and they must follow this, and they have to take this supplement, otherwise they'll be deficient, and like it's a one size fits all for them in their head.
Yeah. And a checklist. Tick, tick,
Yeah.
tick, tick.
And I did that for a very long time. I started doing all the things. I was trying to fix myself in so many ways that I would never be present. I was always listening to information, either in a podcast, reading a journal, um, constantly diagnosing myself to make sure I was okay. I think that that can be, it was like I was trying to become immortal in some ways and constantly reading about nutrition. Gosh, that can be confusing. Eggs are good for you. No, eggs
Mm.
are bad for you. I can't eat oats. Oh, I can eat oats, but only this way. I can't have almond milk because it will make me bloat. I can't do that. I actually developed a fear of food because
Yeah.
I started relying on everyone else's information, and it's very contradictive, and
It really
you
is.
get
Yeah. And
lost. And
confusing
that
and
brings
overwhelming.
anxiety.
It really does. Yes.
So we're constantly seeking everyone else through Instagram, looking at all these apps, and I think that's kind of where the episode title came from. That True North isn't on Google Maps.
Yeah.
It's an app that someone's developed and added, things to, and it's
Hmm.
yeah, we get lost sometimes because
Yeah.
where are you going? What are you seeking? And it can take you the long way. It can really piss you off and take you the
You really can. Or I can drive. And in fact, a friend of mine, just on Facebook, literally 2 days ago, was her and her friend were doing a road trip, and they were down in Victoria somewhere. Didn't know the area, and Google Maps was literally directing them to drive into the lake. And I just thought, what a
oh, that's
perfect metaphor for like, follow Google Maps to the letter, and
yeah.
it can drive you into the lake.
Oh, and you know what? When I was in Sydney visiting my sister, I had my car with me, and I was staying in an Airbnb, which was only 5-10 minutes from her. And she got in the car with me one day and she's like, "Why are you going this way?" I'm like, "This is the way Google Maps takes me." She goes, "This is the really long way." I'm like, "Oh, so I've been driving an extra 5 minutes every day to get to your place." She's like, "Yeah, I don't know why it's taking you this way." Like,
Yeah,
it's like, your intuitiveness, and yeah, okay, sometimes you'll venture into unknown stuff, but you've got to figure it out as you go. Don't just rely
yes,
on that guide. Like, you've got to figure it out and learn things. Take what you can and leave the rest is a big phrase.
absolutely.
My psychologist that I saw actually gave me that advice. She said, "You're taking it too much on board. What do you need that
Yeah,
information for? Just because it
yeah.
worked for them, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you." And
No,
so I think having someone to talk to was a big help for me, but taking the information that you want and knowing how you're going to use it, not just, using it as a blueprint for you, is really
yeah,
important.
absolutely. Because it builds trust within yourself when
Yeah.
you don't take everything, but just take what resonates and start listening to your inner compass,
Yeah.
listening to yourself.
I
Because
think
we
we don't do
lose
that now.
trust in ourselves when we've got an anxiety disorder, because we feel like, I mean, I felt like, oh, my body was betraying me.
Yeah, yeah. And I even now, like as a nutritionist on Instagram, I try not to go on socials too much, but it's difficult when you have a business on socials. But there are some
Exactly.
really well-known, I won't mention names, but there's some really well-known anxiety naturopaths, nutritionists, you name it. And some of the information that they give to you guys, I can't do. It will make me so anxious. Like,
Mm,
just recommending that you take lots of kombuchas and fermented foods, and they really raise my histamine levels and MSG inside my body. It's just too much. And there are things that
Yeah,
don't work for your body. And because these people have millions of followers, you just assume that they know their
I
stuff.
know.
But it's
Yeah.
generalized information, very
Exactly. That's actually
generalized.
one of the reasons why main reasons why I don't put that sort of information
Yeah.
on my own pages, because it's not a one size fits all. I mean, when
Well,
women
you
come
can
into my
list
clinic,
variables.
I
Yeah.
meet them where they're at and find out what the root causes are,
Mm.
what is going on for you. Because yeah, as you said, histamine, foods,
Too much.
thyroid, cortisol, what even with exercise, one form of exercise might be amazing for one person and it might be completely detrimental to
To
the next
enough.
person that walks in.
Yeah. And I just want to be clear that we're not saying to not ever go and seek help and do it all on your own. It's
No,
more
no,
going, if you are seeing a psychologist, just knowing that they are also have their perception of the world and you have your perception of the world.
exactly.
And don't give them everything. Remember
No,
who you are as well, and use that information and take what you can to improve yourself. But yeah, I think coming
yeah,
back to what makes you happy, the dancing, the singing, the going for a walk, the knowing that you have little kids and that you can't do what someone who has teenagers can do. So, going to the gym every day and doing your yoga and all that sometimes doesn't work when you have little kids. Sometimes you have to pick and choose different things to suit your
yeah.
lifestyle.
Sometimes it's as simple as getting up 10 minutes earlier than your kids,
Mm.
making yourself a green tea or a matcha for the L-theanine,
Yes.
and just spending literally just a few minutes drinking that tea, breathing in its aroma. That's it. Like
Yeah. Mm.
sometimes with yoga, I know when I was at my worst, yoga would be too much, or even when I was recovering from brain surgery, and I physically couldn't do much yoga because I had no balance.
Mm.
Just standing in mountain pose. So just standing there with my feet flat on the ground, my arms beside me, making sure I was just standing nice and straight and just closing my eyes and breathing for a few minutes. That was
Mm.
my yoga practice for the day. That was it.
Yeah, I love that. I because
Bringing
anxious
it back
people,
to the simple things.
well, as an anxious person, we tend to just we're kind of in a competition all the time, trying to do more and be more, improve ourselves. Uh,
Absolutely. And
and it's not a good.
overcomplicating things because of our monkey mind going on and
Yeah.
on.
Well, that was it for me. I wanted to fix all the things, so I was reading too much, and I ended up getting analysis paralysis, and it consumed me. I had major decision fatigue. I got to the point where what actually made me feel better was switching from nonfiction books to reading The Seven Sisters by Lucinda Riley, I think,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful series that I read. And I switched all my, like I was listening to Huberman, which I love all those podcasts. I switched podcasts off and started listening to music in the car instead. And it was so good for my soul to stop giving myself information to fix myself. It really, really helped.
Yes.
And yeah, it's what my body needed. And I think
Yeah.
when I mean, some people listening to this are probably listening to fix themselves. And I want to remind people who are listening that just constantly ask your body, does this resonate with us? Does this resonate with me? Do I need to do this? Is this something that I should try or could try or things
Yeah.
like that? Um, Journaling,
Yeah. Constantly
meditation,
doing that.
all those things.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Journaling was a big one for me. But
Um,
yeah, doing that constant coming back to yourself, checking in with yourself. And if it gets too confusing, like sometimes, especially when we've got an anxiety disorder, we doubt the emotions or how it feels in our body, because sometimes the anxiety can be so loud, too loud that you can't feel anything else.
Yeah. And I also wanted to say there's so many apps that like your phone health apps and all these apps for our health apps where we track everything. I think
Yeah.
While they can be useful, I think they can also create a lot of internal anxiety. So I know for me, for
Mm.
example, so what is it called? White coat syndrome, where I go to the gym. When I first started, I've got the heart monitor up on the screen. It shows my heart rate, and my heart rate was so high for the first 2 weeks I was there, simply because I was getting anxious as to why my heart rate was higher than everyone else. Am I having a heart attack? What's happening? And so you
Yes.
start to consume these thoughts about knowing too much about your body. It's too
Yeah.
much. Um,
Yeah. What's wrong with me?
what's wrong with me? So I think we should sort of end it here. Is there something else you wanted to add in to this whole
No, not for this one.
Google
No.
Maps thing? I would love it if you're listening, whatever you're doing, driving, maybe you're cleaning the house. I often listen to podcasts when I'm cleaning the house. I wanted you guys to have a bit of a reflection question here. If Google Maps, so let's just say you were driving, didn't know where you were going, what you were doing. If Google Maps went blank, where would you turn for direction in your life? What would you do? Where would you go? Like if no one was out there to give you the information, what would you do? What would you do, Nat?
Trust my instinct.
Go back
Or
to your
stop somewhere and ask. If I was really lost in Google Maps and I had no idea where I was going, I'd find a petrol station or a shop and ask.
yeah.
But I'm pretty good with directions, so
People
I'd
who
be
have
like,
been there
I know
before.
generally where I'm trying to go, so I would trust my instinct and just
Mm,
start going. I often find that, especially when I move to a new city, I
mm.
deliberately don't have Google Maps or anything on, and I just start exploring, and I'll just start driving, and I don't know where I am.
I'm
I
terrible.
always find my way home
Do you
because
know what?
I know that I can turn Google Maps on if I need
Yeah,
it.
and it
But I trust myself. And then, you go on great adventures and
cover
you
on the way.
discover
Yes,
I've discovered great little cafes and things just because I deliberately got myself lost
so that you
to
could
then find my way
your
back.
way back. I'm
Yeah.
terrible, and this is something I need to stop doing. When I get in the car and I already know where I'm going, I put Google Maps on just so I know what time I'm going to get there exactly.
Oh,
And
okay.
like if I'm driving the kids to Kung Fu, I know it's the same route I do every day or nearly every day, but I'm like, okay, because I'm worried about traffic. I like to
Yep.
control the situation because I have too many things to do
Yes.
that. And
Yes.
I want to make sure I avoid the traffic and get there on time. And I feel like I'm getting lazy in that way because I'm constantly not
Mm,
thinking. I'm just allowing this app to control and tell me what to do.
yeah.
I think it can be helpful, but again, I think knowing when it's taking over is another thing
Yes.
in that connection and intuition.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, that was an interesting conversation. If anything resonated with you, I would love to hear. I love using metaphors. It's what I do. And I love the idea of Google Maps not being able to guide you 100%. It can be a helpful tool, but knowing what resonates and what doesn't, and whether it's taking you for a bum steer. I often tell my husband that I feel like Google Maps have some shares in the toll company or in
Oh,
petrol
yes.
companies. Yes, yes.
Totally.
Too much
Yes.
use and tolls. You can avoid tolls, but I tend to just not press that button. But yeah, I feel like we've covered the compass points. We've covered what the loud, obnoxious anxiety megaphone when you don't listen, and we've also sort of covered finding your true north, using your own gut instincts. I think we need to do an episode more on how to really connect with that intuition inside us because we've just
Yeah.
lost it. And I know some days I
Oh,
really
totally.
rely on apps to get me through because we've created such a conundrum for us in today's world,
Yes.
that we all kind of need to go and live out in a village somewhere and live off the moon and the sun, the shade of what is it, the shade of the sun for the time and all those things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I and get off all the
Those
apps.
old sundials.
Yeah,
that would tell
I know.
us.
But the reality is that we don't live in that world. I think with our next episode, I'd love to sort of venture onto one of the actual compass points, and I really think we should look at the. Let's do the nutritional roots. So nutritional roots is look at that. It's east. It was the first one we
Yes.
talked about in
Ah,
episode
that's yes.
1. So we're looking at the chemical and nutritional roots next week. You'll have to join us where we're going to talk about why I actually started to chew my food. That sounds ridiculous, but a lot of people don't chew their food properly.
No,
And
they
I
don't.
really think you guys should listen to something so simple, yet it changed my life. It wasn't about
Yep.
what I was eating, it was about how I was eating it.
How?
Amazing. We'll see you in the next podcast. Thanks for joining us on the Anxiety Compass. If you love this episode, share it with a friend who needs a little laugh and a lot of calm. We'll see you in the next one. Keep following your true north. Disclaimer time. Sammy and Natalie may be clinical nutritionists, but we're not your personal doctors. What you hear is for learning and laughing, not diagnosing or prescribing. If things feel bigger than you, call your doctor or local support line or reach out to a qualified health professional. They've got your back too.